Hello, I'm Moulton from Brock Harcourts, and I'm joined by Gilbert and Enoka. Welcome, Gilbert.
Welcome, Greg.
How are you?
Very good.
Gilbert, the General Manager of Harcourts and also the mental skills coach of probably the most successful international sporting team, the All Blacks. Very pleased that you're able to join us in Adelaide today and to go through a critical ingredients in leadership session.
Thank you, Greg.
My attitude to leadership is a combination of family and friends, a combination of obviously work and business, and in your case sport, bringing all those together. Have I left anything out of that combination?
Family, sport, business, friends, probably. It's the whole network. Anything that involves an influence relationship involves leadership.
Sure. Now, there's a school of thought that leaders are born. You're born a leader. You can't learn to be a leader. Where's your head with that?
Yeah, I think it's a sort of a view that a lot of people have had over the years, that are leaders made or are they born? All the research that has gone into leadership makes the view, or takes the view, that leaders are made more than they are born, and that only a few have the genetic footprint to be exceptional leaders. And a lot of the conditioning that people have through life is that we're told at school that you're a leader and you're a leader and you're a leader, which basically conditions us to think that leaders are leaders are born, not made.
Yeah.
But my experience is, and it's backed up by the research, as unequivocally that leaders are made more than they are born.
There you go. Generations, so we talk about Generation X's and Y's and baby boomers, etc. In your experience, you're working with a whole lot of different people, different age groups, both in business and in sport. Is there a generation that's sort of come through as a better leadership generation, or age has got no boundary?
That's an interesting question, Greg. I'm not sure whether there's a generation that's come through, but I know that what is required of leaders for each generation has changed. I think our parents' generation was one that was involved in a great deal of authoritarian types of leadership, where you do it as you're told, and that the younger generation, which is more concerned with me and what I can get, has to involve more collaboration and shared views, so that we can combine together in a way that can take something forward. So I think it's more about the different needs of the generation, as opposed to whether the age of individuals impacts on the leadership style.
One thing I've noticed, and even in the session that you were good enough to facilitate for us today, the younger people coming through seem to be extremely insightful and more worldly probably than you and I were in our days. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, it depends, I guess, on how you define insightful. I think they were attentive, they were inquisitive, and with those two qualities comes a sense of questioning, where you look at what you want to do, where you want to go, and you're looking for quick ways to get there. You know, the group we worked with this morning was an extremely talented group of people that had a very, very good grasp of leadership, and we just added some components in terms of the way in which you can manage yourself mentally to enable yourself to get more success in all the endeavours you partake in.
So what were your 3 or 4 key components or take-home messages, or what did you work with the team on this morning?
Yeah, I think it's a real interesting one. I think the first take-home factor, or the first key component, is to understand that the attitude is the single most important thing that impacts the way in which an individual operates. So once we understand that there's knowledge and there's health and there's all these other things that exist in the performance landscape, but if we narrow it down and we say we want to really get a grasp of what impacts performance, then management of one's attitude is crucial. That's the first point to cement. The second point is the word or the phrase we use to describe how we manage the shifts in mental management, and our attitude is mental management. So I can become a very, very good manager of my own attitude if I actually become a good mental manager, so I can manage the shifts that occur. And the third point wraps around the fact is there are some tools and techniques that individuals can use to enable themselves to become extremely good mental managers, because if we have these tools, then we can manage ourselves mentally, which we manage the shifts that occur in our attitude, And if we manage our attitude effectively, then we're in control of probably the most significant factor that impacts an individual's performance.
I think you mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong, that one of the, and you just said then, that attitude being so important to everything we do in all of our areas of life. How do you maintain a positive attitude all the way through, particularly if we are having a bad day?
Yeah, well, I think to understand that there's tools and techniques that you can use to enable yourself to make a shift from being negative to being positive. Hey, in this short time, we haven't got the time to go through what those skills and tools and techniques are.
Today, so read up, listen up.
We did really well today with a wonderful group of people. I liken it unto a person who wants to improve their fitness. So they walk into a gymnasium, and inside the gymnasium they see all this equipment, and in this equipment they know what they need to do to go about improving their fitness. But if a trainer came in with them and actually showed them and helped them, they would probably achieve that end in a better, more purposeful way. And I think it's the same with attitude and mental management, that yes, we can approach the day and approach activities with a view to get better in a mental perspective, but if we can actually get assistance with some tools and techniques, we can actually manage those things better. Fantastic. And I think that added to skill and to knowledge makes for a wonderful success equation for individuals.
Gilbert, I could talk to you all day, but better still, listen up, have a really good look at what Gilbert's, what he facilitated today. It was a fantastic session. Thank you very much. What you've brought to the All Blacks over the last 10 years has been immense success, and we wish you all the very best for the World Cup in 2011.
Thank you very much.
What you've also brought to Hardcourts, obviously, it's just been sensational. Thank you very much for visiting Adelaide and your excellent session today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.